Hi, I want to talk to you today about the tools of recovery. Specifically, I want to talk to you about meetings. Meetings are a tool of recovery, and when I say recovery, I mean recovery from addictive behavior. And when I say tools, I mean something new that you're learning instead of doing addictive behavior. For example, if you have an impulse to drink, if you're an alcoholic, before you drink, please dip into your toolbox and use one of your tools. For example, this might be something you do. Gee, I want to drink today, but before I drink, I'm going to go to a meeting. And then promise you, okay, I can drink after the meeting, but right now I'm going to go to the meeting. And then go to the meeting first before you drink and see if it doesn't help. The idea is you want to get so many tools in your toolbox that you don't have to drink or use or do addictive behaviors anymore because you have so many tools that are helping you solve life's problems. So, what are meetings? Well, if you've never been to a 12-step meeting, I strongly urge you to go. And you can find them anywhere. If you are on the internet, you can just Google it. Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Al-Anon, Adult Children of Alcoholics, Debtors Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous. There are many different groups out there, 12-step programs that are based on the original program of Alcoholics Anonymous and are learning how to let go of addictive behaviors. Some people get kind of stuck when they go to the meetings. They hear a lot about God, and then they think it's some kind of religion, and they get really turned off by it and then never go back. So I just encourage you, one of the slogans of the program is take what you like and leave the rest. If the God stuff doesn't speak to you, just don't focus on that. Focus on the support group aspect. Focus on the people that you're meeting. Focus on the people there who are trying to change, and what are they doing to change, and what can you relate to. A lot of times as addicts, a lot of us tend to focus on why we're different than everyone else, and we tend to walk in a room and say, you're different from me, and you're different from me, and you're different from me, and you're different from me, instead of, gee, what do we have in common? So it's easy to walk into a meeting and focus on everything that's wrong or doesn't work, or why you're different or doesn't work for you. So I'm just saying, if you really want to recover from addictive behavior, you might have to change a little bit. And one of the things that's really good to change is this idea of the idea of take what you like and leave the rest. Like, you just want to let go of all that negative thoughts or why we're different or why this isn't going to work for me, and look at the positive. Gee, this is working. Wow, that person changed their life. Wow, that person has this many years clean and sober. How did they do it? I want to get to know that person and figure out what they have and how they got it. So I strongly suggest that you go to a meeting. Now, some people say, oh, if you go to so many meetings, you're just addicted to meetings and you're switching one addiction to another. So, okay. Would you rather be addicted to alcohol or addicted to meetings? Which is more destructive? Probably alcohol. So, there are some people perhaps who are addicted to meetings, but I'd say that's another way to kind of look at the negative and why it doesn't work. And instead focus on the positive, because meetings can be such a great tool. Unfortunately, though, some people only go to one meeting or two meetings and they're like, oh, I went to this meeting, it was awful, and I went to that meeting, it was awful. Why would I want to go to a meeting where there's a bunch of addicts and alcoholics? So many of them are just still using, and they're just going there and lying, and I don't want to be there. So I'd say if you have that attitude, maybe you're not ready for recovery. But if you have that attitude and you are ready for recovery, then I'd say that, you know what, try different meetings. Maybe you're going to the meetings where everybody there, isn't really clean and sober, and everybody there is court mandated, and there are people lying about their clean. And maybe those meetings exist. But then go to different meetings. Don't give up on the meetings just because you happen to go to a meeting where it didn't feel right to you, because there's so many different kinds of meetings with different flavors and different people. So go to the meeting that feels right for you, where you go there and you feel like, wow, I have things in common with these people. I also suggest that you need to go to about, say, 3 meetings a week for about a month before you know for sure, these meetings don't work for me. Some people want to write it off and say, I hate meetings, they don't work for me. And then I ask them, how many meetings have you been to? Oh, I went to a meeting once, half a meeting once 2 years ago. Okay, so give it a shot, give it a try. What's the worst that could happen? You spend 12 hours in a month, what? Wasting your time? Maybe your time wasn't wasted. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you figured out meetings aren't for you. But one of the suggestions in the program is to come with honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. And so this is part of that willingness thing, that there needs to be a certain level of willingness for recovery. There has to be willingness to change. And maybe if you're not willing to change, you're not willing to try out meetings, maybe that means it's not time for you to quit yet. Maybe you're not ready to let go of your addictive behavior yet. And that's okay. But, it shouldn't be rushed. It should be something that you feel inside like, I'm ready to change. And then it's important to have willingness to try new things. So one of these new things is meetings. And for me, I think it's the fastest way to get recovery quickly, because you get into a room with a lot of people who are recovering and doing a lot of things, and you end up hearing a lot of things that may help you that moment, that day, to abstain from using or drinking or whatever addictive behavior you have going on. So, number one tool of recovery, in my opinion, is meetings. Go to meetings. So, I'm going to end the segment now, and the next segment I will talk about sponsorship.